Welcome back, everybody, to the Bavarian Soundworks video installation guide series. We're here today in a 2007 and up E70 X5 series BMW. We're going to be installing our Stage 1, which is our speaker upgrade kit for this particular vehicle, which replaces all of the factory drivers and dramatically improves the overall sound quality of the vehicle. The way we start the process, it's pretty simple. We roll all of the windows down. As you can see, we want to make sure we don't scratch any tent or make any mistakes that cause any unwanted damage to the car. And we start on the passenger side of the car because the driver's side of the car is the most used part of the car. And if we made a mistake, we'd rather it be on this side. So starting on the passenger front door, I kind of work my way around the car. So we'll start with the front door, rear speakers, back around, and then finally ending up here on the center channel. So that being said, let's get the ball rolling. It's pretty straightforward, this car. So that being said, we're going to be using our plastic panel removal tool. This is found in your Bsw toolkit that you can add to your order. We highly recommend doing this because we've chosen these tools because they don't damage the car and they do exactly what you need them to do. So using our plastic panel removal tool, which yours may look a little different, but the same principle, we're going to pry off this black section of the handle. Your car may be wood grain, it may be aluminum, it may be carbon fiber, but they all come apart the same. So you can see the seam here. So we're going to start on the top. Just kind of get up here like so. And we just pop. Just carefully pry out. You just see following that edge, just lifting out. It just pops right off. Just a couple of little tabs here. And what that does is it reveals a Torx T20, which is just down in here. You can see that there. So we're just going to take our Torx T20. And again, this bit is included in your toolkit. Simply unscrew it. I know this is enthralling footage here of a screw being removed. And look at that. By turning left, the screw removes itself. Okay, so with that complicated part over, we're going to remove this cover. And again, in your car, it could be leather wrapped, it could be plastic. I don't think they're wood grain, but who knows what people do these days. So you can see a seam here. We're going to pull this front part off to reveal two more bolts. So again, plastic panel removal tool from the bottom edge. Get it free, and then I like to use my fingers because I can gauge the pressure that I'm using. Just snaps right out. You can see just a couple little plastic clips in here. Surprisingly well made. You'd think that kind of thin plastic would be brittle. It is not. So that, again, reveals two more Torx T20 bolts, one on the top, one on the bottom. And again, another lesson in screw removal. We've removed the top screw. We've now got the bottom screw. We're going to go in and get another Torx T20. This one you kind of got to go fishing for a little bit. Again, this is my fancy screwdriver. You may have one like it. Probably not, because you're smart and don't spend $80 on a screwdriver like I do. So with these guys removed, this one removed, we now move to the bottom of the door panel where we have, well, I don't know if you can catch them or not. Let's see. There's two more screws. Probably just have to take my word for it. Nothing exciting again. We're just going to remove them. Again. And as tempting as it may be for you, please don't ever use power tools on your door panels or anywhere in your BMW. If you've got a Torx bit and you want to put it in your drill, just don't do it. Number one, it's disrespectful, I think, to the guys that designed the car. Number two, you run the risk of really damaging things, which we want to do. So let's show it some love and minimize the power tools. Okay, so with that done, this one doesn't have a light on the bottom of it. Look at that. Most of them do. All right, so with those 5 screws out, the door panel is ready to be removed. I forgot how simple these were. It's been a little bit. All right, so to get this panel off, I like to start up here on this edge because there's a big gap naturally there. We use our plastic panel removal tool. Take it, let's see, let me show you guys. So the gap between the door, you can just see, like so. We just get our panel removal tool down there. And use I like to use, again, my hands. And then I start slowly working my hands around the perimeter of the door. Like so. You can see it's already free. So we come up here to the top, and it might actually be best for you to come around. Excellent. Now, this is actually a perfect angle for you guys to see. I'm glad we did it this way. We usually don't. All right, so you can see down here, there's a little strap for the door handle. Well, this one's really tight up here. Let's first get the wires loose. Nice, 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 nice. The first thing we want to do, we've got the photos of this as well in the PDF, but it's cool that you can see this. Taking our right index finger, hooking it behind the black plastic piece coming out of the white piece, we simply lift out. And you can see how that works. So it actually goes in, down, just pulls right out and off. So we want to make sure we get that unhooked. Now, we'll just simply unplug the window switch by pulling down on the plug, like so. We've got a plug up here, a little tricky. Again, just a little 2-pin plug there. It's got a little LED light. We'll unplug our mid-range. And actually the way it works is this second wire routes up to the tweeter. So it's just taped through this harness and goes up to the tweeter. We're going to bypass all that and use our own wiring here in a moment. And lastly, we come down here to a wiring harness where if you had a light, and I've never seen one of these that didn't have a light, this would have been plugged into the light. That was really weird. Maybe they took the day off in South Carolina that day. I don't know. The light guy. Who knows? Okay, so that being said, with the door panel off, we're going to go ahead and break here and join you over on our workspace to show you how to replace the mid-range driver. We've got the panel here on our workspace. Again, it's clean, ideally clutter-free zone so that nothing scratches the panel on the flip side. Very, very straightforward here. We're going to remove the factory speaker. It's adhered by 3 Torx T20 bolts again. So we're going to take these guys out. This is, as you can see, it's very straightforward. It feels like it's really loose. So we unstick the factory speaker. You can see we're replacing it with the Bsw driver, which is a marked improvement, not only physically, but of course sonically. The two drivers are, you can see, dramatically different in terms of, you'll hear the difference. I can't describe the difference to you. So before we actually put this on, I kind of want just a quick mention of sound deadening. Again, we highly recommend using it. We've got several videos on YouTube. We're not going to make a video for every car, but what we're going to do, we send you 6 linear feet of sound deadening. So you're going to kind of just apply it. If you're doing 6 areas of speakers in the car, divide it by 6. So you're just going to heat the material, apply it, push it down, with your screwdriver, your thumbs, adhere it to these panels. Because what we're doing is we're adding mass to this plastic to cut down on resonance, which improves sound quality. So obviously the deader a panel, the better a speaker is going to perform. It's going to be more likely to sound as if it were an enclosure. So we want to focus on the area around the driver itself. So watch those videos, check them out. You can't goof it up. Just a little FYI. So that being said, we're going to take our new Bsw driver. As complicated as that was, we're going to set it down, take the screws. Now the trick, there actually is a little trick here, and I want you guys to kind of pay attention. Don't wrench all the screws down one at a time. Get them all kind of a little snug. This is absolutely imperative, or you will strip out either the plastic in the door panel. It'll just ruin your day. So again, finger tight. Don't go wrenching on anything. So as you're putting your drivers, reinstalling them onto the door panel, you want to be extra careful not to strip these screws out because it's just thin plastic down here. These screws are coarse threads, so you could easily strip them out. It's just something you should be aware of. Be careful when you're doing it. It shouldn't be an issue, but if it is, all you got to do, swing by a hardware store, pick up the next largest diameter screw, and put it in there. Nothing, no harm, no foul. It can just happen from time to time, and I just wanted to make you guys aware of it in case it were to happen. So, with regards to our tweeter installation, it's very, very, very straightforward, and it's almost too easy. Coming over here, we've already got the panel off. We know where our tweeter lives right here. If you've got a bass audio car, there's nothing there, so we'll be adding a tweeter. Again, our plastic panel removal tool. We're going to get back here, pry out. I can show you guys there's a little clip back here that we're unhooking. So with the clip free, simply pull out. You can see this whole edge is loose already. Now, what's hooking is this front lip right here. And this is also going to be critical when you're reinstalling the panel, so it's probably a good idea that we film from this side. So we've got the back side free, and now we're going to push this whole thing back. See how it just popped out? And it's plastic, so it's very flexible. We got all kinds of room. You can flex this, bend it, you can't hurt it, so don't worry about possibly knocking anything loose or anything like that. So with the tweeter exposed, actually now, probably, I might just show you guys. We don't have to take this whole thing off, but we might just do it. So first thing we're gonna do is unplug the tweeter, and like I'd said before, don't worry about plugging a tweeter back into this plug because we're gonna be using our own wires. So just using our fingers again, you can see, we're gonna pry the foam off, and then the tweeter is just held in by 1, 2, 3 clips. So I'm gonna try, look at that, yeah. So we popped the factory tweeter out. You can see we're replacing it with the Bsw tweeter. Not only is it a gorgeous tweeter, sonically it's simply phenomenal. You won't recognize the upgrade when you're done with it. So you can see it's machined. It's got the exact same lip as the factory tweeter. We've gone so far as to tool it specifically for this car. Just a beautiful tweeter. So the tweeter, just like the factory one, very straightforward. Yeah, probably better to have you guys over here. It's just going to, literally, it just snaps in, just like the factory tweeter. It's already snapped in. I mean, it just fits in perfectly. So with that being said, I just take the foam, put it right back. So the tweeter's installed, and your car's gonna look like this. Come around here, let me show you guys. Because I've pulled the plastic all the way down. So you can see, you just take your hand, and again, that lip I was talking about that's so crucial. Do you see how perfect? It's not complicated at all. So it's done. Now, with that done, we take this, we get it situated back over here. There we go. So we've got our tweeter installed. And what's cool, I don't know if you can see it in the light, but you see the polished lip of the tweeter. It's really pretty. You can see like the polished aluminum ring. So the tweeter's installed. And you can see there's a plug here. And our mid-range driver is going to have the female counterpart for this plug. So it's just going to, so the new speaker that we just bolted to the door, which lives right here, it's going to have a plug that we plug that into. And then the factory connection, which is the, you know, you can do the, you can make sure you're plugging in the right one, is going to be white and then blue and white. And then the way to make sure that you don't plug the wrong one in is like red, white, brown, and you see the red, white, brown here going up to the tweeter. Like I said, we don't need to use that again. So you'll plug it to the white, blue, white. That's what we're going to plug the mid-range in, and we're done. So with the tweeter installed, I'm going to grab the panel. I mean, heck, we're right here. I might as well go ahead and do it. Save some time and show you guys the rest of the party. So again, we're going to start, just kind of reverse the way we came. Again, you'll recall, this car had no light in it, which, oddest thing I've ever seen. Not really, but it's odd. So I like to do the door handle first. Now the key, you can see, it opens and closes. Make sure it's closed when we snap this guy in. So snap. We'll hook it back the way we found it. So we'll plug our window switch in. And none of this is exciting. It's just simply remembering what to do. Now, tweeter, we plug the tweeter in. Snap. If you recall, we want the blue and white. Snap. And lastly, we got to plug this little guy in up here on the top by the door handle. I can't see very well. Snap the clip back on there, plug that in. We're going to hide some of these wires because they just kind of tend to be all over the place. Now, with everything plugged in, the first thing we want to do is hook this lock mechanism through the hole. And the way I like to do this is I start on the top.